Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Logan Blackman Show. I hope we all had a fantastic week up to this point. I'm sorry for the late delay, or the day delay, I guess you could say, on this episode of the Logan Blackman Show, but I was just dog tired last night. I'm not gonna lie. I was editing a video. I wanted to get it done and edited and taken care of, so I didn't need to worry about the next morning, and just lost track of time, because I record these shows really late. Like right now, it's 9:30. Or it's 9:28. I'm sorry, I shouldn't lie to you. It's 9:28 p.m. I want to get this show recorded because I do have quite a bit of stuff to talk about today. I am tired again, but we move. I don't want to wait another day. I guess I shouldn't say I don't really have anything like too serious to talk about today, or anything that's like overridingly pressing or anything, but I do just want to get this show done because I think it could be a very fun show. I hope it's not incredibly long today, but as we know here throughout the history of the Logan Blackman Show, that sentence has never really been followed by a short show. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But before we get into what we're going to talk about today, let's make sure to go over the housekeeping items first. Make sure to go and follow the Logan Blackman Show on every single form of social media: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can find me on Twitter at Logan_Blackman. Instagram account's Blackman Logan. The show's Instagram account's The Logan Blackman Show 1. Facebook and YouTube's, or no, not Logan Blackman Show 1, The Logan Blackman Show, sorry. Facebook and YouTube, make sure you like and follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can check out our 2025 Gold Cup squad prediction video that has been up, that got posted this morning, Wednesday. It got posted on Wednesday the 21st. The official squad for the United States men's national team for the 2025 Gold Cup will be released today, which is Thursday, May 22nd. So if you want to go check that out, we'll have a video for that coming out on Friday as well. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for that one as well. But check out the squad prediction video so you can compare and contrast between the actual squad and the one that I put forth. And there's some interesting things that are going on with that squad that I'm already can tell you that I know it seems like I'm 0 for 3 out of 26. As far as I can tell, there are 3 players that I already know are not going to be in the squad, and that's Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty, and I don't know how true those two are, but I did see from McIntyre from Fox Sports, Christian Pulisic will not be in the squad for the 2025 Gold Cup, and it's because he just played a shit ton of minutes. He's played a shit ton of games. It's just thinking long term with Christian Pulisic. Mauricio Pochettino has done this before. If you remember back in his first camp, where he allowed players to go back to their clubs during his first week, or the first camp that he had, where they beat Panama in the next game against Mexico. They ended up losing to Mexico. A lot of the key players ended up going back because trying not to injure themselves, trying to think long-term. The World Cup in 2026 is the main goal here. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. We do not need to get hurt long-term for before the 2026 World Cup. So Christian Pulisic will not be in the squad, which sucks, but as well as Weston McKennie, Giovanni Reyna, and Timothy Weah. Those are some big losses right there. For the most part, 3 of those 4 out of the last 4 we mentioned, not Carter Vickers or Austin Trusty, 3 of those 4 are guaranteed starters. Giovanni Reyna, depending on who you ask, should or shouldn't be a guaranteed starter within the national team. But hey, Weah, Pulisic, McKennie, those are all, and Reyna even, are all massive, massive losses for the Gold Cup. So we'll see how they're able to react to that, how they're able to bounce back from that, and hopefully they're going to be able to put forth a solid performance in this tournament, which is something we have not seen from the United States men's national team in some time in regards to an international tournament. You look at the last Gold Cup, you look at the Copa America, you look at the Nations League. Like, this is 3 straight tournaments. I know there's been Nations League sprinkled throughout there as well, but those 3 tournaments in particular, the United States has failed. Really, that's the best way to describe it. Losing to Panama on penalties, losing to Panama in the Copa America before getting beat by Uruguay, getting grouped in the Copa America, and then losing to Panama in the Nations League before losing to Canada in the 3rd, 4th place game. Like, it's just been a downward spiral for the United States. And it's been 3 different managers in those camps. It was BJ Callahan in the Gold Cup, Greg Berhalter in the Nations League, or in the Copa America, sorry, Mauricio Pochettino in the Nations League. Sorry. But the final thing here, enough with that. Well, you can go watch the video for more stuff with the United States men's national team. the main thing here, make sure to follow the Apple Podcast and or Spotify accounts and the YouTube channel as well. Apple Podcast, Spotify, make sure to leave a rating of 5 stars. Make sure to leave a description down below on why you feel the way you do. YouTube, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we will be posting weekly on all of those different categories. Even the main channel. We post weekly on the main channel and have done so since February? March? I think I've done 15 videos so far this year, so we're trying to stay consistent. We're discounting the audio videos where we're doing the quarterback rankings, just trying to get videos out as consistently as possible. So I'd appreciate if you guys went out there and subscribed to the channels. But we are here to talk about football, because the world of football, it really isn't like the season. Yes, the NFL and college football seasons take place from September till January for college football till February for the NFL, but it really is a year-round thing. It's not just those few months in there, and it's not just 16, 17 games in there either. It is a whole calendar year, because once we get done with the season, then we've got all the draft process stuff. We've got, you got the freaking All-American Bowls. You've got the Senior Bowl and stuff like that. Then you've got the Combine. Then you've got the draft. Then you've got the schedule release. Then you've got OTA or rookie minicamp. Then you got OTAs. It's a year-round thing. There is numerous things we can talk about when it comes to the sport of football. And yes, baseball is going on. The NBA and NHL playoffs are going on. But the world of American sports culture really revolves around football. We talked about it a little bit last week when we were going over the NBA draft lottery, and that the NFL does not need a draft lottery. It's a nice little, gadget thing for the NBA. It's a fun thing. It gives you an extra little bit to reason to be excited. But the NFL doesn't really need gimmicks or stuff like that to be excited, to grab fans' attention. The NFL and the NFL draft has been relatively unchanged for however many years now, and it's a national television event. It's national drama. It's real-life drama television right there. The NFL draft is awesome, and I will not want to change anything revolving the NFL draft. And if they ever think as touching the NFL draft and turning into a draft lottery, I'm going to lose my freaking mind, because we don't need that. We don't. I promise you, we do not need that. I really promise you. And anybody that says the NFL needs a draft lottery, they need to get a reset, because the NFL does not need to compete and throw stuff out like that. Just do the thing you're doing. It is working perfectly. There is not a single thing wrong with the NFL draft process. Everybody will tune in to watch it. Everybody loves it that watches it. You don't get this same amount of hype for the NBA draft. You sure as hell don't get the same amount of hype for the NHL or MLB draft. Hell, the MLB draft, I forget, is on every single freaking year, because it happens midway through the freaking season. I completely forget it's on. And then it just, oh yeah, the Cubs selected this player with this pick. It's oh shit, the draft's tonight. The NFL doesn't have that. There's national buildup for the NFL draft. Football runs America. Football is I know baseball's America's pastime. I know, the NBA's got the most social media followers. I don't care. That really does not matter in the grand scheme of things. The world of America, I'm not saying the entire world, the world of America revolves around football. And the NFL had a schedule release announcement at the NFL draft. They were building up the schedule release, and it got massive attention on social media. That happened last Wednesday, the 14th. The NFL schedule release was a big talking point for everybody. Nobody gives two shits about the NBA schedule release. You go, well, Logan, they have more games. Doesn't matter. That should make you more excited for the schedule release. I loved it. I mean, the Bills schedule release was pretty funny. They had Allen Iverson in it. It made me chuckle. It made me chuckle. And the Bills right now are the only team in the NFL to be favorited in every single one of their games. I think the Eagles are favored in 16 of those games, and the only game they're not favored in is when they play the Bills. And I also saw, my dad actually texted me this, that the Patriots over-under for the season is 11? Is that right? Is that right? Because I thought I was going a little bit off the deep end with my prediction to say the Patriots will have a better record than the Miami Dolphins this season. I thought I was going crazy here. Or 8.5. 8.5. Which even then, I might say I'd take the over. My bet for the Patriots right now would be 9 wins. That would be my guess. Is 9 wins. And I saw stuff yesterday, Christian Gonzalez picked off Drake May twice. Like, Drake May had thrown a couple interceptions. I implore you, please, do not pay too much attention to this time of the season. It does not matter in the grand scheme of things. It really doesn't. They're just getting back into the flow of things. Like, the Patriots have not played a football game since the beginning of January. And now they're coming back. Yes, Drake May has thrown this offseason. I have no doubt in my mind about that. But don't look at that and go like, oh my God, Drake May's throwing. Like, I know right now, like, we have to sensationalize everything. Where it's like, oh my God, or heartbreaking. Like, I saw a tweet today. Heartbreaking. Joe Burrow is upset at the Bengals' schedule. Heartbreaking in all caps? Really? That's what we've got to do now to garner attention here? I don't really understand that kind of thing. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, we don't need to take something like, oh, Drake May threw 2 interceptions, and now we got to question Drake May here. Like, the whole thing with the Browns that we brought up last week, where it was like, oh, Shedeur Sanders is outperforming Dylan Gabriel, and then the other day, it's announced that Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett will be rotating the ones for Cleveland Browns at Browns camp. Because in reality, rookie OTAs don't really mean a whole lot because most of the people that they are playing with probably won't make the roster. A lot of those guys are guys they just invited to camp. They're not guys that they're actively looking at and going, okay, this guy can make the roster. Yes, you would like to think that, but there's only a few select guys they actually look at and go, okay, you can make a roster. And the fact of the matter is, like we talked about after the draft, Dylan Gabriel was drafted 50 picks before Shedeur Sanders. So the amount of rope or amount of leash that Dylan Gabriel is going to get is going to be a lot longer than Shedeur Sanders. Because Shedeur Sanders is a 5th-round draft pick. The second a 5th-round draft pick slips up, they're easily going to throw it in. But a 3rd-rounder, they're going to let you get some time in there. So I don't really care if Shedeur Sanders outperformed Dylan Gabriel in rookie minicamp. I'm not surprised. Shedeur Sanders, is a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. But I'm not surprised that going into camp, that the guy they drafted 50 picks before the other guy, the guy they said they had they're higher on their board than the guy they drafted 50 picks before, is the guy that's going to be challenging for 1 reps at the beginning of camp. The beginning of camp. That could change drastically throughout the course of the offseason. There's not a doubt in my mind Shedeur Sanders could be in the conversation for the quarterback 1 spot. Because the Browns quarterback room is a jumbled mess. I mean, again, we just said Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are competing for 1's reps. That should say that all right there. And then Shedeur Sanders and Joe Flacco are competing for the 3's reps right now. Like, Shedeur Sanders, I can make a really good case that he's the best quarterback on that roster. But again, he was a 5th-round draft pick, and it does not matter what I say. It's what the Cleveland Browns think of the guys they drafted. And if they think Dylan Gabriel is better, which is why they drafted him higher, he's going to be given a lot more opportunities to take that 1 spot at this point in time than Mr. Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, there's anomalies in there. Obviously, it's not a perfect circle. Like, it's not every single team thinks like that. No. Like, you look at a team like the San Francisco 49ers. They had a guy they drafted 3rd overall in Trey Lance. Not only 3rd overall, trade up from 12 to 3 to draft this guy. He gets hurt, next season comes in, he's done. He gets his job taken by Mr. Irrelevant, who just signed a massive contract extension to make them 7th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Now, my opinions on the contract in regards to how high he's paid compared to everybody else, do I think he's worth that? No, I don't. I'm not sitting here and saying that Brock Purdy's a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. Let's not get it twisted here. But you don't pay guys that rank outside the top 10 in quarterbacks that much money. You just don't do that. And I don't want to be mean or anything or like pile on here, but what does he do that gives you the thought process that he's worth that kind of money? His contract on average is $2 million less than the guy who just won the MVP in Josh Allen. In what stratosphere are Brock Purdy and Josh Allen even remotely similar? But that's the market. So I can disagree with the fact that I don't think Brock Purdy should be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, but the market suggests that he should. Because if you look at the top highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Not all of them are the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, hold on. I gotta try. I didn't have this pulled up. My bad. I apologize. I apologize. Like, you look at the highest paid quarterbacks in the league right now. Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, and Lamar Jackson. Like, Patrick Mahomes is below Kirk Cousins in regards to the contract. Brock Purdy is making $53 million a year. $53 million a year. That is joint with Jared Goff. Is Jared Goff worth $53 million? Former number 1 overall pick. You could make a case, given from where the Lions were to where they are now with him being the quarterback. I can make a case. But no, I don't think Jared Goff's worth $53 million annually. I don't think that. I don't think Dak Prescott should be paid the highest in the NFL. I don't. But that's the market. Like, Deshaun Watson should not have gotten the biggest guaranteed contract in NFL history, coming off the back of a season where he didn't even play, going into a season where he was going to be suspended for at least 11 games. I didn't think that was the right move. And it's not the right move. And I don't think Brock Purdy's a safe quarterback. Brock Purdy is a safe quarterback. He has done everything that he did at Iowa State and kind of reined it in a little bit. And what I mean by that is there were times at Iowa State, and I've watched a lot of Iowa State football in my days, living in the state of Iowa, being surrounded by Iowa State fans. I live in Madrid now. I live 20 minutes from Ames. Like, I watched a lot of Brock Purdy. Now, I never watched him beat Iowa, but I did watch a lot of Brock Purdy in his 4 years at Iowa State. And there were times where Brock Purdy would try to do a little too much, where you would see him trying to throw the ball completely across his body where he does not have the arm talent to do so, to make those kind of throws. You would see him falling over and try to make throws while he's falling over. You would try to see him force a ball a little bit because he thinks he has to put it there because they have to get a first down or have to get a touchdown. And in San Francisco, he's not doing that. Brock Purdy in San Francisco is getting the ball to the open guy. Brock Purdy in San Francisco is throwing the ball where Kyle Shanahan is telling him to throw the football. It's a very timing-based thing. And he's working it beautifully. This is why, again, I've talked about 1,000 times why why Kyle Shanahan wanted to draft Mac Jones over Trey Lance. I think it's ironic that Mac Jones is on the team now and he's not going to be able to give it a chance as a starter because they just paid Brock Purdy $53 million annually. I think that's kind of funny. Now he's in San Francisco, but he has next to 0% chance to get that starting job. And it's funny because if Mac Jones ended up in San Francisco instead of Trey Lance, we're talking about Mac Jones a whole hell of a lot differently. Because Mac Jones would have not have gone to a team that would have Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as the offensive coordinators. He would not have gone to a team that drafted God knows who. And Bill Belichick lost his fastball in the NFL draft. We all have seen that the last few years of his time in New England. Like, he had no chance in New England. He had a good rookie year. Comparatively, I don't think he was a top 100 player in the NFL. I don't think he was a Pro Bowler. I'm not saying that. But he was a lot better his rookie year than he was his next few years in New England. And he got shafted in New England. Absolutely. Joe Judge was a special teams coordinator, and Matt Patricia was a trash defensive coordinator, and now they're co-calling the offense, and we're surprised that he declined drastically in his second year. If you're surprised by that, I don't know what to tell you. Mac Jones was a good quarterback. He wasn't a great quarterback. I'm not sitting here and acting like he's a guy that should be making a shit ton of money in the NFL, but he wasn't a guy that deserved to get thrown to the offensive coordinator situation like Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. That is one of the worst mismanagements of a rookie or a second-year quarterback that I've seen in a while. I'm not saying the worst ever, but it's not far off. It's not far off. If he wound up in San Francisco, Lord knows what would have happened. Because we've already seen what Trey Lance has done in San Francisco, and he's a guy that Kyle Shanahan didn't want. And he got hurt right away. Like, I don't think that... Like, Brock Purdy, what would he have done? Like, it's a big what-if story. Because where would Trey Lance have gone? Would Trey Lance have gone to the Patriots? Would Trey Lance have gone to the Bears or the Broncos or any one of those teams? Where would he have gone? Where would Justin Fields have ended up? Would the Bears have traded up to take Trey Lance instead? Like, would the Falcons have taken Trey Lance? They were linked with him quite a bit throughout that offseason. Like, what would have happened if that all took place? And I'm not, again, I got to reiterate this because I know there's probably some people out there going to take this the wrong way. I'm not sitting here and saying Matt Jones is going to challenge Brock Purdy for a starting job. It's not even it's not close at all. Brock Purdy has got that job on lock. It is his until it's not. And Kyle Shanahan's pretty much said, as long as he's there, Brock Purdy's going to be the starter there. And this contract proves that. And again, I don't think he should be paid this much money, but the market suggests that he should. Because because if you look at Brock Purdy's team accolades throughout his time in the NFL so far, he's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to 2 conference championship games. How many guys above him on this list have been to 2 conference championship games and a Super Bowl? The only one on here, or the only 2 on here are Joe Burrow and Jared Goff. Josh Allen's been to 2 conference championship games. He hasn't been to a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott's never been to a conference championship game. Jordan Love has never been to a conference championship game. Trevor Lawrence has never been to a conference championship game. Tua has never been to a conference championship game. Like, it's Goff and Burrow. Goff's been to 1 Super Bowl with the Rams, and he's been to 2 NFC championship games. Once with the Rams, once with the Lions. Like, those are the only 2 guys above him that have done that. So, if you want to go like that and say he's a quarterback for a team that has done that, has been very successful, then I understand that. But in that same breath, how much is that based on team versus what is he the tractor or the trailer type thing? I think Purdy's more of a trailer. But that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You need those kind of quarterbacks. Because in a system like Kyle Shanahan, he needs a quarterback to do that. And he has a guy who can do that in Brock Purdy, who does it pretty well. Again, he's a top 20 quarterback in the NFL. I'm not sitting here and saying he's a bad quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. But man, $2 million less than Josh Allen is kind of funny. It is kind of funny. I was having a conversation with some friends 2 weeks ago. Who's the most talented quarterback in NFL history? And just off pure talent alone. And I said, well, I'll take the guy who could throw it 100 yards and jump over a defender. That'll be my... I'll say that guy's the most talented quarterback in NFL history. And there's some good quarterbacks that, like Aaron Rodgers, obviously, is one of the most talented quarterbacks in NFL history. John Elway, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, even. Andrew Luck was uber talented when he got drafted. Like, you can talk about some great talents from the quarterback position, but I ain't never seen a quarterback hurdle a defender, run through somebody, and then be able to throw it 100 yards. That's just me. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe I'm being a little biased here. But, I mean, I'm not going to hate on Brock Purdy for the money. Hey, if I was a top 20 quarterback and I got offered that, I would take that as well. And the 49ers are paying their people. They paid Fred Warner. They paid George Kittle. So, like, go get your bags, guys. Go get your freaking bags. That's what you want to see. You want to see the guys get money. And Brock Purdy is not from the state of Iowa, but he went to Iowa State. So, as an Iowan, we got to root for him. And just because I am an Iowan does not mean I need to constantly sing his praises. No, I can be critical of him as well. I can do that. I don't hate him if I say I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. That's not me hating on him. I think he's good. I think he's a good quarterback. But that's about it. He did have a no trade clause in his contract, but I thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't expect to see that, but hey, again, I'm not going to hate on him for getting the money. Hey, get the money. Go get the money. But while we're on the topic of, top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, Pro Football Focus released a list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Or not top 10 quarterbacks, it's the quarterback rankings. All 32 starters ahead of the 2025 NFL season. And we will do our TLBS staff rankings here in the coming months. I don't know when exactly that is. I'll need to recheck on when I did that last year. Well, we do that every single year, where you get like 15 to 20 people to submit rankings. We get a TLBS staff rankings and everything like that. The top 5 quarterbacks in this list, and this is from, again, Pro Football Focus. The top 5 in order is Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, and Josh Allen. Mahomes, he didn't have the greatest season of all time last year. He didn't. The Chiefs' offense was not great last year. I mean, they didn't score over 30 points until they played the Bills in the playoffs, which is very convenient how that always works out. But they didn't. The Chiefs' offense was not the greatest of all time, but I can understand why Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL in people's rankings. I understand that. Because if we're talking about, like, you're looking at Mahomes versus the other guys on this list, for the top 4 guys in the NFL, how many of those guys are in the top 10 all time? None of them. So if you want to sit there and go like, well, Mahomes is the top 10 quarterback of all time, that obviously automatically secures his place at number 1, I'm not going to be mad at it. I'm not going to be mad at that at all. What I am going to be mad about is Joe Burrow being number 2. Joe Burrow is... It got on my nerves last year, like at the beginning portion of the season. But why does Joe Burrow? Again, I gotta be careful how I word this, because Joe Burrow, in my opinion, is locked in as the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. He's not 5th, and he's not 2nd. Like, we go to 3rd, gap, 4, gap. Like, that's how I would look at it. But Joe Burrow, he led the league in passing yards last year. He led the league in passing touchdowns, and the Bengals missed the playoffs. The Bengals were I'll walk you through it. He led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns because the Bengals defense was so bad. They were so bad, they had to throw the ball every single freaking time. Like, that's why you don't, the NFL, like, leading the league in passing yards is cool, but if you're losing games, like to the Patriots, if you're losing those games, I don't really feel that bad if I'm being 100% honest with you. I don't. Because he didn't play great in that Patriots game. If you look back at his numbers in that game, he did not play great in that game. Joe Burrow also gets talked about going to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, throughout his playoff career, he has 9 passing touchdowns. Josh Allen, in one playoff trip, which was 2 games, threw 9 touchdowns. Josh Allen right now, I believe, has 20... I can't remember exact number of touchdowns in the playoffs. Hold on. Let us scroll down here. Josh Allen right now in the NFL has 25 passing touchdowns. Yeah, he has 25 passing touchdowns. He has not thrown an interception in the playoffs in 2 years. Like, he's thrown 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the last 2 playoff appearances. And he's played 5 games in each. In his playoff career, he only has 4 interceptions. And since 2021, he only has 3 interceptions. And they all came in one playoff run, which was that gross year. But he had 9 touchdowns in 2021 alone. And Joe Burrow's got 9 in total in 7 games. So I don't really care about Joe Burrow going to the Super Bowl. I want to hear people talking about how his defense stepped up in that game against the Kansas City Chiefs more than what Joe Burrow did. I believe Joe Burrow's defense has more points in the 4th quarter than Joe Burrow does. I could be wrong about that. You guys could go and Google that. But what does Joe Burrow do better than either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson? Without saying Super Bowl that happened 4 years ago, without saying that, what does Joe Burrow do better than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson? What does he do better? I would love to have somebody hold my hand and walk me through that, because I really struggled to figure it out before people go like, oh, he led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns this year. Okay, cool. Is Justin Jefferson, or not Justin Jefferson, is Jamar Chase better than Justin Jefferson because he led the league in touchdowns, receptions, and yards this year? Now, there are going to be some people that say yes, but no, he's not. And I love Jamar Chase. Like, Jamar Chase, I think, is more talented than Justin Jefferson. I've said that for years now. But he's not better than Justin Jefferson, even though he's coming off a great year. Like, if I was ranking the wide receivers in the NFL, Justin Jefferson would still be number 1 in my rankings, coming off of Jamar Chase's insane season. Like, someone hold my hand and walk me through this, because I really struggle knowing what he does better. Oh, and he has the same number of interceptions as Josh Allen in the playoffs as well. Josh Allen, again, has played 13 playoff games to Joe Burrow's 7, and they have the same interceptions, yet Josh Allen has, 16 more touchdowns? And that's just passing. That's just passing. We're not including his 7 rushing touchdowns to Joe Burrow's 1. We're not doing that. Like, what are we doing here? How? And if I want to be mean too, do I need to talk about how Jake Browning, the season before, when Joe Burrow got hurt and Jake Browning had to go in and be the starter, had a better record as a starter than Joe Burrow did? Do I need to go over that as well? If I wanted to be mean and say Jake Browning was 4-3 as a starter versus Joe Burrow's 5-5, I could do that. I'm not gonna, because that'd be mean. But I guarantee that if you put in whoever the Bills' backup quarterback is, Mitch Trubisky, Case Keenum, Kyle Allen, I don't give two shits. The Bills would not have a better record as the starting quarterback than the elite Joe Burrow. I said that mean. Joe Burrow, I would consider to be an elite quarterback. But there's levels to this. There's levels to it. Like, I think Steve Young is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's not close to Tom Brady. Like, they're both legendary quarterbacks. They're not close to each other. I'm not saying Josh Allen's Tom Brady or anything. Josh Allen's not a top 5 quarterback or top 10 quarterback of all time. I'm not saying that. But Joe Burrow being second is frustrating to me. Maybe a little bit more frustrating than what it should be, but I'm even mad that he's above Lamar Jackson. It's not even just about Josh Allen. It's about Lamar Jackson too. Like, Lamar Jackson's a 2-time NFL MVP. What has Joe Burrow done that makes him better than Lamar Jackson? Without saying he went to a Super Bowl 3 or 4 years ago. Without saying that his defense has scored more points in the fourth quarter than he has. Without saying that, what does Joe Burrow do better than Lamar Jackson? I'm fine with you saying every other quarterback in the league, the 28 other starting quarterbacks, you can say whatever you want that Joe Burrow does better than. He does nothing better than Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't. And you could say, Logan, that's being mean. You're really on a hater train right now. I don't really give two shits, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't. The reigning league MVP is ranked 4th in this quarterback rankings. That is stupid as hell. It should be forever and always. And whatever, I might be petty this year just to put Josh Allen number 1. Like, if we're talking about going into the year, I would say Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow. If I'm talking about based off last year, I'm not putting Burrow over Patrick Mahomes. I can't do that. I would go Josh, Lamar, Patrick, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is locked in at 4th. I'm not ranking him any lower. I'm not ranking him any higher than that. I'm not doing that. But number 5, Jalen Hurts, makes sense. Jayden Daniels, number 6. I don't want to do the same thing we did with C.J. Stroud last year, but I understand it. Matt Stafford, 7. Herbert, 8. I understand both those. Yeah, Matt Stafford, kind of, he got better as the season went on last year. And then we have Jared Goff at 9. Geno at 10. I don't agree with that. I don't. But I'm not going to hate on it too much. I would rather have Baker in there, if I'm being honest. Baker would probably be my number 10 out of these guys. Like, would I have Jared Goff top 10 based off last year? Probably. I mean, he was a top 5 MVP candidate last year, so I probably would. But, like Stroud, Dak comes in at number 17. Baker, we've talked about before. Jordan Love's not coming off the best year, but I really like Jordan Love. I'm not sitting here and saying like he's the best quarterback in the league or top 5 or anything, but I do like Jordan Love. I could make cases for them above those guys, but I understand. But yeah, Kyler Murray at 15, Trevor Lawrence at 16. Trevor's a weird one. We've talked about that before. Trevor's just a weird quarterback. Tua at 18. Then we got Bo Nix 19, Bryce Young 20. which I think is interesting. You know, I've always been rooting for Bryce Young, so I'm surprised he's at 20, though. Then J.J. McCarthy, 21. Drake May, 22. Michael Penix, 23. Caleb Williams, 24. So if we're looking at the second-year guys, so Nix, McCarthy, May, Penix, and Caleb Williams, if we're looking at those guys, J.J. McCarthy has the best supporting cast by far. It's not really close. I mean, he's got Justin Jefferson, he's got Jordan Addison, he's got T.J. Hawkinson, he's got Kevin O'Connell, he's got Aaron Jones, he's got a completely rebuilt offensive line. Like, he's got the best supporting cast by far. Drake May, they improved their offensive line. They signed Morgan Moses. They drafted Will Campbell. They brought in Stephon Diggs. They drafted Kyle Williams. I like those moves. They drafted Travion Henderson, very Patriot-esque back there. Michael Penix got some talent on the offense. They just need to realize it all. Then you've got Caleb Williams. They brought in the likes of Luther Burden in the draft. They brought in Drew Dalman. They brought in Jackson. They brought in Tooney, who just signed a new contract. Like, they retooled that. They brought in Ben Johnson. Like, the Bears, I like what they did. They brought in Kyle Monangai later in the draft from Rutgers. They're linked with Nick Chubb. So the Bears are a fun team that could be good this year. And then Bo Nix, the Broncos made the playoffs last year. They got Marvin Mims. They've got Cortland Sutton. Who else they draft? I'm blanking. I know they drafted Jahdae Barron, but I'm blanking on who else they drafted. Sorry, that's my bad. But Caleb Williams, is he the fifth out of those four or out of those five? Out of the first round guys last year, he's fifth. Would you agree with that? And Jane Daniels, he's in another stratosphere. We know that, but I don't know. I have a hard time saying that. I really want J.J. McCarthy to be good. I really want. If you remember, I had him at QB4 going into the draft last year. I think my rankings were May, Williams, Jaden, Daniels, McCarthy, Nix, Penix. I think that was the rankings that I had. I want McCarthy to do well. Defended McCarthy a lot on this show. I really, really like him. But we've seen him play part of a preseason game. And everything on paper says he's going to be good. And I believe he's going to be good. I think he's got the right mentality and will fit that offense really, really, really well. But Caleb Williams broke every single Bears single-season rookie passing record. I have a hard... And that's not a very hard thing to do in hindsight. If you're looking at, if you're a competent quarterback, you would like to think of yourself that you could break the Bears single-season rookie passing records. Because Trubisky held that record. I don't even think he had 2,000 yards passing. And Caleb Williams threw for 3,000 yards plus this year. He'll probably throw for 4,000 yards this year. He'll be the first Bears quarterback in history to throw for 4,000 yards, which is ridiculous in its own right. But I don't know. That McCarthy one is interesting. Penix, I want all the rookie quarterbacks to do well from last year. I want the rookie quarterbacks to do well because I like all of them. I'm excited to see what they do at the next level. But I want to talk a little bit more about Caleb Williams because there was an article that came out just the other day on ESPN, and Caleb Williams sought way around going to Chicago Bears. I don't know why. I love when these articles come out. Because it's like the most random time. He's been on the team for a year. Why does this article need to come out? What is the benefit of this article coming out? The Bears aren't going to release him. The Bears don't care because here's the thing. They probably knew. The Bears are not well known for their quarterback development. So the fact that Caleb Williams sought a way out of Chicago makes sense. And it's not, I got to rephrase that because it's not the Bears. It's their development system. He didn't know anything. He didn't like Shane Waldron. He didn't like Matt Eberflus. I don't blame him. The Bears, again, like I talked about just a little bit ago, they're the only team in the NFL that has never had a 4,000-yard passer. And you're going to be surprised that he's skeptical about a team's ability to develop a quarterback? I'm not shocked at all. But again, it's the timing of this thing. Why does it come out now? We all knew this going into the draft. This wasn't something that was like some big revelation. Everybody talked about like, oh, he's going to try and force his way to Washington because that's where he's from. But apparently he was trying to force his way to the Vikings, which that was never going to happen. The Bears had the number 1 overall pick. Caleb Williams was the best quarterback in the draft. Like, why would the Bears give the Vikings Caleb Williams? If they thought he was going to be as good as what everybody thinks, why would they give him to a division rival who picked 11th at the time? Because remember, they had to trade up 1 spot to get J.J. McCarthy at 10. Why would they do that? I would want to go to the Vikings too. We said that last year. Everybody kept talking about this is the best situation rookie quarterback's ever been. No, it's the Vikings. Look at the freaking players they have on that offense. This is even before they redid the offensive line. Obviously, a rookie quarterback would want to go there. Duh. What kind of idiot wouldn't want to go there? If I was going to the Bears, who have no history of ever developing a good quarterback, like we have question marks who their greatest other quarterback is apart from Sid Luckman. We're talking about Jim McMahon as their greatest quarterback of all time. He won a Super Bowl in '85. He started 11 games that year. And they went 15-1. Like it's not just like Jim McMahon. That's the bar here. Jay Cutler's the Bears' all-time leading passer. Like that's what we're comparing here. Jim McMahon started 11 games, and that team went 15-1. They played 6 games without him, and they lost 1 game. But that's the quarterback that we're going to pound the table on as being the greatest quarterback in Bears history. I like Jim McMahon a lot. I think he's a very eccentric character. I like his personality. He's a fun player to watch because he just throws himself everywhere. He was a tough dude to the detriment of his body at the end of the day, because that's ultimately what killed his career was injuries. And he came to the season massively overweight after the Super Bowl. But that's what we're talking about here. So yes, I don't really have any surprise. Like Jay Cutler, when he got traded from Denver, Jay Cutler was seen as a guy that could develop easily into being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Jay Cutler was one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL with the Denver Broncos and got traded to the Bears because Josh McDaniels was trying to trade him to freaking Detroit or Tampa Bay to get Matt Castle in the door because Josh McDaniels is a dickhead. If Jay Cutler stayed in Denver, Jay Cutler, I don't know what his career would have looked like, but I think it'd be looking a lot better than what we view Jay Cutler right now. We had a guy that, again, was on the precipice of becoming a consistent top 10 quarterback in the NFL to being a guy where we questioned whether or not he cared or not. Like, that's where Jay Cutler went to, and he's the Bears' all-time leading passer. That's sad. So, no, I'm not surprised that he had reservations about the Bears developing a quarterback and giving him the tools to succeed at the next level. Ryan Poles convinced him on it, and once Caleb Williams got drafted, he never made any issue about it. There has not been one iota of problems with Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears since he has been on the Chicago Bears. And Caleb Williams never made any of this information public. It was all speculation that we all were like, okay, he's probably going to force his way to Washington because everybody hates Caleb Williams. Or Caleb Williams is this massive douche. Caleb Williams never made any of this information public. And Caleb Williams screamed when he got drafted. He cried when he got drafted by the Bears, screamed when he got on the TV. He did the whole bear claw thing. And by the end of this year, he's going to probably be the Bears' first ever 4,000-yard passer. So again, I don't understand why this article came out right now. I understand where he's coming from and what he did last year. He never raised any issues. He never bitched or never moaned about anything. He just buckled down and was like, well, we're going to stink. But I'm going to keep trying to do stuff. He went for a long stretch without throwing an interception. He wasn't great last year, but he wasn't as bad as everybody makes it seem just because Jaden Daniels had a generational run as a rookie going to the NFC freaking championship game. Like, let's hold off a little bit. Caleb Williams is the best quarterback the Bears have had in quite a long time. And you could go like, well, that's not really saying much about Caleb Williams, more of an indictment on the Bears. That's perfectly fine because I think that's a perfectly respectable thing to say. That is completely understandable. Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in recent Bears history just because of how bad the rest of the quarterbacks have been. That's completely understandable. I understand that 1,000%. But Yeah, he comes in at number 24 on this rankings. I'm not saying any of these guys would be top 10, but the order is definitely interesting there. Then we got Cam Ward is number 25 on here. I always have rookies ranked at the bottom just because they never played. So that's just me, but I understand why people have him higher. Sam Darnold, 26. I've talked about before. I am intrigued to see what he does in Seattle. I'm intrigued to see what he does following this season that he just had. Because when people were talking about extension with Sam Darnold, we always said, pump the brakes on that. Because we're obviously going over like, oh, he's had such a great year, but let's not forget the previous 5 years that we've already seen. And look at the situation that he is in and go, maybe this is sustainable, maybe it's not. We have a rookie quarterback we just traded up to get a 10th overall. We're going with that guy next year. The only way Sam Darnold was coming back is on a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal with an opt-out after the first year. Because J.J. McCarthy was going to be the starter at some point or another in Minnesota. The best thing for a good team to have is a rookie quarterback because you could build your entire roster. And the Vikings have done that. We talked about rebuilding their offensive line. Ryan Kelly, Fries. Who's the other guy they brought in? Crap. They brought in one other guy. Donovan Jackson from Houston, from Ohio State. That you completely retooled the offensive line to help your rookie quarterback coming off a knee injury. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what Sam Darnold does here. Then we have Russell Wilson with the Giants, Justin Fields with the Jets, Joe Flacco with the Browns. He's not the starter. We talked about Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel being the guys there right now. Anthony Richardson at 30, Mason Rudolph 31, which means Tyler Shuck at 32. I'm very conflicted about this Tyler Shuck thing in New Orleans because I like Tyler Shuck. I do like Tyler Shuck. But there is like a little part of me, and I don't really know how to word this exactly. There's a little part of me that feels like he could be Kyle Trask. Like, I really like Tyler Shuck. I had him as the 3rd quarterback, I think, in the quarterback rankings that we did prior to the draft. I like him. I like him quite a bit. I think he can make a lot of really good throws. But the Saints aren't going to be very good this year. He's going to start. Kyle Trask never started in Tampa. So I guess it's not exactly like that. But the Saints are just not going to be good. They're not. They don't have any real talent on this roster. So with Kellen Moore as the new head coach, with how many quarterbacks are available in next year's draft, what's to say they don't just go and take a quarterback next year? I'm not saying that's exactly what they're going to do because Tyler Shuck could be really, really good. And I hope he is because I like him. But if he's not, then I think he can just be in New Orleans for a while. Well, they did bring in Hunter Deckers as well, so look out for that one, I guess. Get Hunter Deckers as a starter in New Orleans. Rocco Beck comes out next year. Jeez. Crazy. The succession plan for Iowa State quarterbacks in the NFL. Craziness. But, yeah, I'm rooting for Tyler Shuck. I'm rooting for him quite a bit. So I'm intrigued to see what he does. But you got some good young quarterbacks in that division. You got Shuck. You got freaking Penix, you got Bryce Young, and then obviously you got Big Bake Show down there at 30. But hey, Kyle Trask is there. Kyle Trask is still kicking it down in Tampa. Oh my goodness. But the top 4, it's obviously way too early to be ranking quarterbacks right now. You can only do it based off last season, which makes it funnier why Joe Burrow's 2nd in the NFL. But yeah, I still think those are the top 4. The top 4 orders changed, obviously, but top 5, Jalen Hurts has a really good case to be the 5th best quarterback in the NFL. He didn't have the greatest season last year, statistically, but the Super Bowl run, how he played in the Super Bowl, because he didn't have the greatest. But like Saquon Barkley was like 100 yards away from Jalen Hurts in passing yards with rushing yards. Like Jalen Hurts was not putting up insane numbers in the playoffs, but he was also coming back from injury. Saquon Barkley was dominating in the Super Bowl. They just ran Saquon Barkley just to keep the defense honest, and Jalen Hurts with him over top. Jane Daniels, I don't really despise this list too much. Geno at 10's very interesting. I do find that one a little bit interesting, but I don't dislike Geno. I like Geno, but I do think that's a very interesting placement for Geno at number 10. What did I have here? Oh, Speaking of Jalen Hurts, the tush push, that got, they talked about that in the NFL, the new NFL startup meeting, and they put it to a vote, and the tush push is going to stay legal. Good. It shouldn't, it's not, what's annoying about the tush push thing is that it's a play. You're banning a play. And the thing is, every single team can do it. Every team can do it. The Eagles don't have anything really that spectacular that goes, oh yeah, they can do this. They're the only team in the NFL that can do that. Obviously, it helps to have a mobile quarterback or a strong quarterback. Like the Bills can do it. The Bills got stuffed against the Chiefs doing it. Like the Chiefs can't do it, I guess, because Patrick Mahomes doesn't run a quarterback sneak since he dislocated his kneecap against Denver. So I guess the Chiefs are the one of the few teams that can't do that. But every team in the NFL, within reason, can do it. So why is that a thing that we're trying to ban? Just because it's working for them does not mean we need to ban it because you're not good at it. That's stupid. And for those of you bitching and moaning about the tush push, who the hell cares? No, I don't think it should be banned. And what's annoying about it is my own team tried to ban it. and it's funny because they watched the Chiefs game back and go, damn, we suck at this. Let's never do this again. Let's get it out of here. Because then what's the point? Do you just ban quarterback sneaks in general? What's the difference between a quarterback sneak and a tush push? Because you're doing the same thing pretty much. Like what's the difference? Are quarterback sneaks just banned in general? Like I don't know. I think it's stupid to even why this has even been a topic of conversation for as long as it has been. I don't understand it. I think it's stupid. Eagles can run it 100 times a game. I don't care. Figure out a way to stop it. That as simple as that. Just because they're running a play that works for them does not mean the entire league needs to ban it because you can't run it as good as them. That's your problem. That's not their problem. So why are you punishing them because you can't do it as well? That's stupid. What if teams tried to punish the Vikings because Randy Moss was faster than everybody? And they're like, hey, you can't run verts anymore because Randy Moss is faster and taller and longer than every other player in the NFL, so we can't stop him. What if the NFL tried to ban that? That's essentially what this is. Like, oh, this one play that you're running works a lot better for you than it does for everybody else, so we're going to ban it. That's stupid. That is really stupid. If you take it back and take a step back and look at it like that, it is really dumb that we've even had this conversation. Like Lamar Jackson can't run anymore because the NFL doesn't have any quarterbacks that are as fast as Lamar Jackson. He can't run anymore. That's not fair. That's not fair. What's a good example of this? The Cleveland Browns, don't have a quarterback that can move like that. That's not fair to us. Let's ban Lamar Jackson from running. The Ravens can't run quarterback runs anymore because he's faster than everybody. That is so stupid. The Bears can't return kicks anymore because Devin Hester returns them too much. He scores too many touchdowns. We don't have guys that can do that. That's not fair. Guys, stop. Guys, the Chiefs have made the AFC Championship game 8 times in a row. Can we ban them from the playoffs? That's just not fair. Why do they get to host it every year? Ban them from doing that. It really is really stupid. It is like why was this a thing? Like what makes me even more pissed is that my own team tried to say, "Oh, let's ban it." Thank God they didn't ban this stupid thing. It does not bother me in the slightest. If you don't like it, stop it. Simple as that. If you don't like it, stop it. And if you can't stop it, don't bitch about it when you can't stop it. That's on you. That's not their problem. We found a thing that works really well for us. We're going to keep doing it. Well, that's not fair. Well, stop it then. So stupid. It is really dumb. I don't know. Like, it's a quarterback sneak at the end of the day. It's a quarterback sneak. Do something about it. Most quarterback sneaks, you have to fall forward a yard anyway, so it's fine. Tempers flare as Eagles defend Tush push in heated debate. Yeah. Oh my god! But it's just funny. It's just funny. The Lions also withdrew their playoff reseeding proposal, which that was stupid. I'm not going to go over that here. That was just dumb. You can go look at that yourself. But the one thing that's going to be fun is to see that I'm sure Jalen Hurts will definitely be in the conversation for the NFL owners. Now officially approved a resolution to allow their players to participate in flag football in the 2028 Summer Olympics. 32-0. Not a single owner opposed this. No surprise, but significant. The NFL's version of the Dream Team is coming. I really think it's funny that you got like the flag football people, like the 5'9" quarterback that was talking about like I'm the Patrick Mahomes of flag football. I do like where he's coming. I do kind of understand where he's coming from. Like I'm flag football. This is my sport, so whatever. But in football, you can the NFL, they play flag football in the Pro Bowl. Like, and that's I would say, this might be controversial. I would say that's a higher level than professional flag football. That's just me. Because if you're in the NFL, I would imagine you could go pro in flag football. The reason you're playing flag football is because you couldn't go pro in the NFL. That's just how I look at it. I could be looking at it from a different lens. I don't know. Call me crazy. But I would say the people that are playing the NFL are better football players and could probably figure out their way in flag football than the flag football players. Just my humble opinion. And the odds for the starting quarterback, Lamar Jackson was the favorite, which if you remember when we first talked about this, my pick for the NFL for the flag football team was Lamar Jackson. I think that one picks itself. Like, Lamar Jackson is the most flag football quarterback. Jane Daniels is another option there, but Lamar, I mean, given Lamar's track record with injuries and not sounds bad because he's been healthy recently, but like, I could see Lamar not playing in the Olympics, but if Lamar does, Lamar Jackson would go ape shit. Like, it's not even really close. I would even Josh Allen, yeah, he'd be fun to watch the Olympics, obviously. Mahomes, obviously. But in flag football, when you can just run around and throw, that's Lamar Jackson, the most electrifying player in the NFL at the quarterback position. Yeah, I'm not really having any other conversation about who's going to be the quarterback for the Olympic flag football team. And then you throw in the likes of Tyreek Hill in there. Like, Tyreek Hill as one side, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, like that. That's just not fair. That's not fair at all. I would love to know who's competing in this. I would love to know what other countries will be. I mean, you don't know right now because it's the 2028 Olympics. We're not even in 2026 yet. Like, I think that's funny. And then running back, I mean, Devin Achane would be fun from the Miami Dolphins. He'd be a good back to have in there. Decent receiver, electric running back. Christian McCaffrey, I think, would probably be my pick, though. But again, injuries probably won't be. But I would more so than Lamar, obviously. I don't want to make it sound like I think Lamar Jackson's made of glass or anything. He's not. McCaffrey is. But Lamar at quarterback, running back, if he's healthy and ready to go, McCaffrey. If not McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs would be my running back. So we have Lamar, Jahmyr Gibbs, wide receivers of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill. Those would be my receivers. If not those guys, if not Tyreek, I would throw CeeDee Lamb in there. Then tight end, I would probably have David Njoku would be really good for flag football. Super athletic. But if not, I don't, Kelsey, no. Kelsey in his prime, obviously, but we're not in his prime, and he probably won't be playing. He won't be playing at that point in time. Oh, that's another thing. Who's going to be playing? This is, again, 2028. Tyreek probably won't be playing at that point. So I'm going to go Lamar, Gibbs, Jefferson, Chase, Lamb, or Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith will probably be around at that time. Ryan Williams will be around at that time. So those guys are other options. I got to think college as well. I do got to think college. So those are options. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams would be very intriguing options there. But I am going to go with the guys who are currently in the NFL right now. Tight end. Who would I'm completely blanking on tight ends right now. Mark Andrews' familiarity with Lamar Jackson. Nobody from the Bills. Dolphins, no. Patriots, no. I mean, hey, Isaiah Likely could be fun. He could be a good tight end for fantasy. Or for the Olympics. I'm just looking around. I'm scanning my... I'm just on ESPN. I'm looking at the teams. I'm trying to just remember off the top of my head who each team has for tight ends. Colston Loveland could be fun. Tyler Warren could be fun. 2 rookies this year. Sam Laporta could be fun. TJ from the Vikings. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts feels like the perfect flag football player for the tight end position. I think it'd be Kyle Pitts. Frustrating as hell in the real NFL, but hey, Kyle Pitts in the Olympics for flag football. Hey. See, this doesn't need to be the best players in their position. I'm just thinking from a flag football standpoint. I played a decent amount of flag football in my life. I think that would be my flag football team. So Lamar at quarterback, Jahmyr Gibbs running back, receivers of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, with alternates of Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith, and Kyle Pitts at tight end. And are we going to throw a center in there? Like, are we going to need to have a center? Because in the Pro Bowl, they have a center. So are we going to throw... Who's an athletic center that we could just throw in there? We'll throw in Tyler Linderbaum just for familiarity with Lamar Jackson. Like, we'll throw him in there. So that's my flag football team for the offense. I don't care about the defense. Defense, you can throw in anybody. There's not going to be... Okay, well, no, we'll throw in a defense. So we had quarterback, running back, 3 wide receivers, tight end. So we had 7. Or 6 with the center. 7 with the center. So we'll throw in 6 because the center's they're not going to count the center. So for corners, at that point in time, Travis Hunter will probably be in there. He can play wide receiver as well. I didn't really think about him for wide receiver, but Travis Hunter, because he would be really fun in the Olympics. Then we would go with, Pat Surtain's the best cornerback in the NFL right now, so probably him. But is there anybody that could break into that category? Again, I'm just thinking about this on the top of my head. I don't have a list or anything. Who could break into that category? Derek Stingley's very good from the Houston Texans. Christian Benford, very good corner. J.C. Horn from the Panthers. Christian Gonzalez from the New England Patriots could definitely be an option there. Jalen Ramsey will be retired, I would assume, by that point. Nate Wiggins from the Ravens. Hey, that dude's got wheels. He could be fun for flag football. But no, I'd probably go Pat Surtain. If we're just going 2 best corners in the NFL right now, Pat Surtain and Derek Stingley, will those be the top 2 corners in the NFL right now? Depending on who you ask. Jalen Johnson from Chicago is definitely within a shout of that conversation as well. Yeah. So I would probably say Stingley and Surtain. I'll throw a nickel corner. We got to throw in a nickel here. So that would probably be Brian Branch from the Lions. Probably Brian Branch, but I would still throw in Taron Johnson. I'd still throw in Taron, but it'd probably be Brian Branch. Safeties, we don't need any hard-hitting safeties. We could just really throw in anybody back in the secondary and just kind of call it good. But I saw Kyle Hamilton tweet out a Korea flag today. He tweeted out the flag of South Korea, so I don't think Kyle Hamilton will be available. But Malachi Starks, his teammate, I think Malachi Starks could be a realistic option there for one of the safety positions at the Olympics. And then we have, I forgot about Denzel Ward too for the Browns, but we're not talking about him for safety, but who could be a safety option? Justin Reed, Derwin James, Harrison Smith will probably still somehow be playing at that point in time at 55 years old. I'm completely blanking on safeties. Good Lord. Budda Baker. I am struggling with safeties. Good Lord. Why am I not thinking of any safeties? I'm sorry, safeties. I'm completely... I am lost right now. I am completely lost. Who led the league in interceptions last year? It's usually safety. Oh, Xavier McKinney, Kirby Joseph, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I don't think any of those. Maybe Xavier McKinney, maybe. But Kirby Joseph, no. We're not having anybody tear their ACL out there. Amani Hooker from Iowa. Geno Stone from Iowa. Jesus, this is not a lot of great movement for safeties right now. But I'll throw in Malachi Starks. Why not? I'll throw in Malachi Starks. And then I'll throw in Derwin James. I'll throw in Derwin for the length in there. Linebacker, because that was what? Corner, safety, nickel. And then one linebacker. So then I would probably throw in Fred Warner. Yeah, I'd throw Fred Warner in there. He's the highest paid linebacker. I shouldn't say that. I don't know if he's the highest paid linebacker in the league. He just got freaking paid. But I'll throw him in there. Is there anybody else I would throw in there that I'm Again, I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, so I do apologize if I'm forgetting anybody. But I think those would be my picks. Those would probably be my picks for the defense and offense. But yeah, you know what? I think the offense is locked in. I think the offense is just going to outscore people. You could really throw in a bunch of rookies on defense and be fine. And we had an offense, again, Lamar Jackson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Kyle Pitts with Tyler Linderbaum at center. That would be the greatest flag football team of all time. I don't care what any 5'9" quarterback says. I really don't care. Because, hey, Kyler Murray, speaking of, though, Kyler Murray could be really good in flag football. Kyler Murray could be a lot of fun in flag football. That dude, I've said it before, pound for pound, might be the best athlete in the NFL. I mean, this dude was drafted 9th overall in the MLB draft. Like, pound for pound, we have to have a conversation about Kyler Murray in there. But I don't know if they're going to do like an age range thing or something. I don't know. But I think that'll be hilarious when the NFL goes to the Olympics for flag football. But I did briefly talk about the receivers, rookies that could come up next year. The Athletic today, Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic, he posted something on an article about the potential 2026 NFL draft quarterback class led by Arch Manning looks loaded. So I just want to read it really quick. I don't really have anything else to talk about today, so I just want to really quick touch on this. Number one on here, Tier 1 Arch Manning, makes sense. If you remember back to when we did our class rankings a couple weeks ago, the main reason I didn't have Arch Manning as number one is because he's only started 2 games. It was against UL Monroe and Mississippi State. He's thrown 90 passes in college. I can't really put him at number one at this point in time. I can't do that. I understand why people have him, but I understand. And he probably will be QB1 by the time this season ends. Probably will be. Number 2 he has on here is Drew Aller. Again, I had him as QB1. I think from a ceiling standpoint, he's 21 years old. He's a decent athlete. He's nothing fantastic. He can get gains on the ground when he needs to. Big body doing there, 6'5", 235, 240 pounds in there. Has the strongest arm in this draft class. And I think in Penn State system, his footwork is still an issue. His footwork is still a little bit of an issue. But once he gets that figured out, there's no reason why he couldn't be the best quarterback in next year's draft class. The next one on here is Lenore Sellers. Again, one of the highest ceilings in this draft class. 19 years old, 6'3", 242. Pound for pound might be the most athletic quarterback in this draft class. Like from a size standpoint for how electric he is as an athlete. He has a good arm, but he's a little erratic at times. Sometimes the ball sails on him a little bit. He has a little bit of a fumbling issue as well. But again, if Lenore Sellers figures everything out and gets everything tightened up this year at South Carolina, there's no reason why he can't be QB1 in this draft class as well. Fernando Mendoza comes in at number 4. Understandable. Completely understandable why he's at number 4. I had him at number 6, but completely understandable. Ball explodes out of his hand. 6'5", 225, 21 years old, transferring in from Cal to Indiana. I'm excited to see what he does in Kurt Cignetti's offense. I'm really excited to see what he does there. Then he had Garrett Nussmeier, sorry. I like Garrett Nussmeier a lot. He's on the smaller side of things compared to the other quarterbacks we just mentioned. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. I don't know if I believe that he's 6'2", because Cade Klubnik sits at 6'2", and he looks bigger than Garrett Nussmeier. I don't know if I believe Garrett Nussmeier is 6'2" or not. I don't. But Garrett Nussmeier is a gunslinger of gunslingers. Sometimes the gun goes a little wayward. Sometimes he forgets to have both hands on the trigger, and sometimes the gun will fire off in random directions. But when he's all linked up, there aren't a lot of quarterbacks that can make throws that he can make. in regards to how anticipatory that he is, that how accurate that he can be. He's not a great athlete, but he can make plays outside of the pocket and pick up gains on the first down if required to. We saw that a couple times this past year at LSU. Now, I'm intrigued to see what he does this year because there were some high expectations following up Jayden Daniels last year. So we'll see how he does in his second year as the full-time starter. And then we have Cade Klubnik on here again. He's listed at 6'2", 210, which is the same height and only 10 pounds difference between him and Nussmeier. He's bigger than Nussmeier. I don't think Cade Klubnik is the same size as Garrett Nussmeier. I don't. Klubnik does not have like an explosive arm, but he's a quick release. He's a good athlete. We've talked about it in the video. His accuracy outside of the numbers is the best in this draft class. He's so fluid with everything that he does. He doesn't waste any movements in there. So he comes in at that spot. That's the tier 1 guys. And I agree. I had all of those guys I had in my top 6. Different order, but all of those guys I had in my top 6 as well. Then tier 2, Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. Doesn't turn the ball over at all. Very good athlete. Started getting a little bit of notice as the season went on last year. So I'm excited to see what he does now. The eyes are on him, and no Cam Scattaboo this year either, so that'll add some pressure to him. But talented player. But he comes in at that spot. After him, John Mateer, who I had at 9, so John Mateer would come in at number 8 on this list. I had everybody on this list so far on here. Mateer, I'm just intrigued to see what he does in the SEC. I almost said Big 12. And the SEC. Because he was in the Pac-2 last year, and they played a pretty... I don't want to be too mean to it, but they played a pretty lax schedule comparatively to what he's going to be playing this year in the SEC. They had one conference game against Oregon State and they lost, but they played like New Mexico, they played San Jose State. Like they didn't play like a top tier. They played Mountain West schools for the most part. Like I want to see what he does in the SEC. He's been compared to Baker, Gardner Minshew, Cam Ward, the guy he replaced. I want to see what he does. He's uber talented. He's super fun to watch. I have him at 9, but at 8, completely understandable. And then Carson Beck, just flip those two around. Carson Beck, he's not as high as what he was last year. He was QB1 at this point last year. He's QB8 right now, nowhere near the athlete of Mateer. Has a decent arm, good to decent arm, nothing spectacular. He's not a great athlete in there either. But he's got the frame that teams are looking for in Miami. We saw what Cam Ward did there last year. He's not the same talent as Cam Ward by any stretch of the imagination. But he comes into Miami, and I'm expecting him to bounce back from what we saw last year. And then the tier 3 guys, he has Nico Iamaleava from UCLA. He has Taylor Green from Arkansas. And that's it. And the others to watch, he has Aiden Childs, Miller Moss, Dante Moore, Mark Gronowski, Connor Wegman, Kevin Jennings, and Jackson Arnold. So no Sawyer Robertson in there. That's interesting. But Taylor Green, Nico, they're both 6'6". Both got good arms. Taylor Green's a better athlete. I'm intrigued to see what Nico does at UCLA. It's not an offense or a system or a team that usually... If he was going to blow up, it would be with Josh Heupel, in my opinion. That's what it would be. Josh Heupel's offense is very quarterback friendly. So if there was an offense for him to ball out in, I thought it would be in that one. I didn't think it'd be at UCLA. I could be very, very wrong in that. Maybe UCLA is the spot where he absolutely blows up. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I did want to also say I had a comment on the quarterback rankings YouTube video. I just want to read this out because I think it's interesting to get other people's opinions about it and like about the quarterback rankings and stuff. So Carson Beck does not have a good arm. It's C+, which I would say is good. Like, he's not great. Like good, B- C+. I would consider that a good arm. He doesn't have a bad arm. He doesn't have a great arm. He just has a good arm. That's my opinion on the ranking. Same as Nussmeier. He spelled the name wrong, but Nussmeier has a better arm than Carson Beck. I wouldn't put anyone less than a B arm in the top 20. Well, there's not 20 B above arms. I haven't read this whole comment. I just saw a couple parts of it. So you're saying there's 20 people with B or above arms? That's interesting. that there's a lot of quarterbacks in college football. Maybe I'm not familiar with them. I had 30 quarterbacks listed in my honorable mentions section, like in total, like in the blog post in the top 10, and then I had 10 or 20 listed in the other section. There's not 30 B arms in there. There's not 20 B arms in there. Like, that's a very niche way to look at it in my opinion. But again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Mendoza is almost 6'6". I agree. Great arm, fast runner, terrific leadership, very smart processor. I expect him to draft number 1. Could very well see that. I could very well see a reality where Fernando Mendoza gets drafted first overall. I have Klubnik 2, Manning 3, Sellers 4, Allard 10 because he has accuracy issues. I would love to know the rest of the rankings because I struggled to find 20 quarterbacks that have B arms. Like, what I would say Nussmeier has a B plus arm. I would say Beck has a C plus to B minus arm. There's not a lot of A arms that are outside the top 10. There's not a lot of B arms that are outside the top 10. Like, if you're looking at the players that I have on here, who has better arm than Carson Beck? Carson Beck. Luke Altmaier, maybe. Jackson Arnold, you would hope so. He's a former 5-star. We just need to see it more consistently while at Auburn. Rocco, does Rocco have a better arm than Carson Beck? It's close. Aiden Childs, ceiling-wise, it could definitely get there. Just need more consistently. Jalen Daniels, I don't think has a better arm than him. Kyron Drones, I don't know. Noah Fafita, possibly. Taylon Green, ceiling-wise, could be up there. Gronowski has a solid arm, but is it better than Carson Beck's? I don't know. Eli Holstein, don't know. Nico, yes, he has a better arm than him. Nico has a better arm than Carson Beck, but it's not consistent. Avery Johnson, I wouldn't say so. Haynes King, wouldn't say so. Jade Maeva, haven't seen enough of him to be 100% honest with you. Dante Moore, former 5-star. We haven't seen him play since he was at UCLA, which was 2 years ago. Miller Moss, I don't think has a better arm than Carson Beck. Malachi Nelson, he's at UTEP. I don't think he's going to be in the top 10. Caden Salter, I don't think has a better arm than Carson Beck. Ty Simpson, haven't really seen him play all that too much. Connor Wegman, I think, has a better arm than him, but we just need to see him play. He wasn't great at Texas A&M last season. I need to see him actually play. But, yeah, I need to know. I should have responded to that. I want to know what the top 20 quarterbacks are that have better arms than Beck. If Beck has a C-plus arm, nobody other than a B in the top 20. I think that's a little. I don't think they realize that there's not 20 really draftable quarterbacks. There's not no draft class ever had 20 quarterbacks. So you're saying they're just undraftable at that point, which that's not true. Beck and Nussmeier aren't draftable because they don't have B arms. I don't know. C plus I think is what I would consider to be a good arm. B, I would give Beck a B anyways. I wouldn't give him a C plus, but I would consider that to be to good. Like C plus, no one's happy about it, but you're like, I can stomach that. Like that's Beck. Like that's Beck's arm. It's not the greatest thing of all time. It's not Josh Allen's arm, but it's not Tim Tebow's arm either. Like it's a good arm, but it's whatever. It's whatever. But then with that being said, that's all I've got for you today on this edition of the Logan Blackman Show. I do hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, I sincerely apologize. Try to be better next time. Make sure again to check out all the different links to the social media accounts. Make sure to check out the YouTube channels, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. Again, I've been Logan Blackman. If you enjoyed, awesome. If you didn't, I sincerely apologize. Try to be better next time, and I will see you guys later. Peace.